Hello and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor. My name is Sensei and we are here for an important update and an important show. We do the show every single morning. It's called the Morning Forecast. We look at to see if it's a rainy day in the markets, to see if it's a sideways moving day, or if it's one of those days we make money. And today's top story that we are looking out for is the end of the SEC Ripple case. We're going to be looking at that. That decision comes out today. We are going to be looking at it. I'm going to be telling you my thoughts straight away on that. So let's see what my thoughts are, what the markets are pricing in. We've got XRP now up 2.91%, moving fast. I am going to keep an eye on the news because this can come out any second. Any second today. I am expecting it will come out a little bit later in the day, but we are seeing XRP move quite fast now, so I'm just double checking to see if we've got anything. I don't think we've got anything yet. The price is moving fast now. Just checking the news. The price is now up 3% on the day. We are going straight into the news story. Today is a day that we are expecting the end of the SEC Ripple law case. Just seeing if we've got any news because the price is moving fast now. The price is moving fast. We are live for sure. I've just seen a comment, Ivan. Yes, we are live. I'm just checking the news. Ripple SEC. Because you can see that it's gaining momentum now. I don't think the news is out yet. Let me check the SEC's X. Nothing there. Let's check Ripple. Nothing there. I'm checking news agencies. Terret, nothing there. I'm just having a look at the news because someone's front running this trade. Someone is buying XRP big right now. XRP is moving fast towards the upside right now. Someone might have the news early. Someone might be manipulating the markets right now because XRP is moving fast. The news that we're looking at today is I'm going to keep an eye on all my news sources because something's happening, and whether that's someone front running the trade or the news is out. The news isn't out by all the sources I'm looking at. Nothing out yet. Nothing. Okay. So the big thing, and it's the if you get the morning newsletter, this is what the one big thing of the day is. The Ripple legal saga with the SEC could end today. If Judge Torres approves the proposed settlement, it will mark the formal close of crypto's most pivotal courtroom battle, a case that shaped how tokens are classified in the US. This decision doesn't just affect XRP; it could unlock institutional flows, set ETF precedent, and reshape the regulatory tone for the entire crypto market. Look at this, XRP is moving. Is Bitcoin moving? Bitcoin's not moving as much. Something's going on with XRP. Someone is front running the trade. They're either manipulating it and it's a bad news story and they're getting people to FOMO, so they've got enough liquidity to short it, or they know the news early and they are positioning themselves right now. I always say be prepared for all scenarios. I do think the case will come to a close today. I don't think it will have a massive impact on the price, but I think it could have a massive impact on the price because we've got ETF decisions coming out this week. So I'm going to come on to all the XRP Ripple news, a lot to uncover in today's show. Money move of the day. Several microcap stocks are mimicking MicroStrategy's playbook. But with XRP, companies like Vivo Power and Wellgistics are accumulating XRP for treasury and operational use, offering a speculative backdoor for investors seeking indirect exposure to the token's upside. So I'm going to come on to all those stories. We're going to skip the 5 things to know for now. The Bank of Japan decision tomorrow, that's a big story. But remember, it's not expected that they're going to hike. It's more about what they're going to say. We've got Nippon Steel news, Archer Aviation news, Eva Air news, Port of Los Angeles. We're going to skip straight into the deeper dive because Ripple and XRP, this week's key developments and deadlines. And we've got a lot going on this week. Keeping an eye on XRP's price. I mean, look at that. Someone is buying. There's short squeeze going on. There's someone's buying. And we don't have the news out yet. The news is definitely not out yet. Look at this. XRP is absolutely pumping. Should we put on the pump song? Let's see if we can continue. I want everyone to hit the like button, then we'll get into all the news while I check some sources. I'm going to put the music on. Every single person watching, hit the like button. And then once you've hit the like button, you know what to do. You come back into the comment section and you hit the like button there as well. What do I mean by that? We're going to put on the music. Everyone hit oh, I've got the wrong one there. Let me change this to there. Nope, that's the wrong one. Let me just make sure we've got this right. There we go. Um, I need everyone to firstly hit the normal like button. Once you've done that, come over here, and someone's already doing it. Come here and hit the like button there. I'm going to put on the music. We're going to keep an eye on XRP's price. I'm going to see if there's any updates to the um, to the case, because something's happening. So let's put on the music. Let's get ready for all the stories on Ripple. There's a lot of XRP Ripple news today.
The year is 1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony, until one day a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
We need everyone to hit the like button straight to 150 likes. We'll come on to the XRP Ripple story straight away. So much news to share with you guys. So let's get the likes up and let's get into the story.
Get ready for verse 2, Electric Boogaloo.
You see the truth behind the veil, and you know that they're just looking for attention. Oh, you don't let the ruthlessness prevail. Oh, it's time now, light your fire for ascension. Like a phoenix, you burst in a fire burn. A thirst and desire, you transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes. Phoenix, you burst in a fire burn.
Thank you everyone very much for doing that. We are looking at the price of Bitcoin, which did go on a little rally, but XRP is drastically outperforming that short-term rally we're just having right now. XRP now up over 3% on the day, and the news isn't even out yet. I have confirmed with all sources the news is not out. So what is it that we're waiting for? Plus some extra news for you guys. So this week is Ripple XRP week. We can name it that because there's so much going on this week. This is sort of make or break for the next sort of for this bull market. Maybe we can say that probably make or break this week. What's going on this week with Ripple and XRP? Well, so much. So we're going to do it as a video. If you're watching live, you get to experience it live. Breaking news on Martyn Lucas Investor. XRP Ripple week. This is make or break for the bull market for XRP. So much news to cover, so much going on this week, and you need to be prepared for all of it. This is our newsletter. I've got every day, daily it goes out. If you're interested in finance, crypto, we get this newsletter out for you every day. 3 or 4 hours of research goes into it, plus you have deeper dives. And we are focusing in this video on so much going on for Ripple and XRP this week. It is make or break, starting with today. The news might already be out, it might not already be out. If you're watching this and the news is out, then there is going to be additional information you want to keep an eye out for. But the news of the SEC Ripple case, by the time we're recording this in our morning show every single morning, is not out right now. But the price is being front run. We've just seen a massive spike on, and when I say massive, I'm talking about the last 20 minutes, XRP's price went up 2% for no apparent reason. Someone might be front running the trade, or they might be they might be pushing the price up just to dump it if the news is bad. So we will see. We don't know what the news is yet, but what we're waiting for today is a massive end to a case. So Ripple and its XRP token are at the center of several major developments this week, each with significant implications for the crypto market and institutional adoption. Here is a concise breakdown of what's happening, what's expected, and what matters right now, source and date for clarity. All the information's here. Not only is it the SEC case today, not only is it the XRP ETF's deadlines this week, it's also companies that are using XRP in their reserves and which companies might be undervalued in that sense. Remember, nothing I say in this video is financial advice. This is just my thoughts and opinions only. Please do not trade based on anything I say. So, starting off with what matters today. SEC case nearing conclusion today, June the 16th, 2025. This could be a date to remember for a lifetime. The pain the XRP holders have been through with the SEC could end today. Ripple and the U.S. Security Exchange Commission have filed a joint motion to dissolve the long-standing injunction and release 125 million held in escrow, with 50 million going to the SEC and 75 million returned to Ripple. Today, June the 16th, is a pivotal date. The SEC must update the court on the settlement progress or signal its intent to continue with appeals. Legal experts put the odds of Judge Torres approving the motion at around 70%, but the final closure depends on the judge decision. We are expecting a decision from the judge today. If granted, this will formally end one of the crypto's most consequential legal battles, providing regulatory clarity for XRP and potentially setting a precedent for future crypto enforcement. Remember, they tried to end this before. They did it the quick way. The SEC and Ripple came to agreement. They just tried to file something in not the proper way to Judge Torres. Judge Torres turned around and said, "You've wasted 3 or 4 years of my time. The taxpayers' money. You can't just end it just like that. We need some better. You haven't followed the procedure." They've gone back, followed the procedure, hopefully, and we are expecting to get a ruling today. So that's the news that we're waiting for. We're going to be on standby for that. But not only that, that might have already come out by the time you're watching this video. There's more important things at stake here. If the SEC case comes to an end, this will help the XRP spot decision. In theory, it can still happen without that decision, but it will be nice to see that, because what's happening this week is there's an XRP Spot ETF deadline, June the 17th, and next week, June the 25th. So this week is a big one. The SEC is facing imminent deadlines for spot XRP ETF applications. Franklin Templeton, massive asset manager, has an application, and the decision deadline is June the 17th. We've got ProShares as well, June 25th next week. So the market odds for approval has fluctuated but remain high. Remember, the better markets are pricing in, I don't know, about 80 to 90%. Close to the 90% mark that we'll get an ETF approved this year. I've always said the second half of this year, and we are now in the second half of 2025. So I'm expecting it maybe this one or maybe in a couple months' time. But I am quite confident that we might get an ETF approval this week, especially if that court case comes to an end today. So approval would make XRP only the third crypto asset to secure a US spot ETF, a move expected to drive significant institutional inflows and boost market legitimacy. However, approval is not guaranteed. Regulatory uncertainty and the outcome of the SEC case could still influence the decision. So that's coming up this week. We will have more volatility. June the 17th, tomorrow, ETF could happen. XRP ETF tomorrow. I think people are realizing, and they might start FOMOing. Wait, the SEC case can come to an end. Wait, we can have an XRP ETF tomorrow. What am I doing selling my XRP? That's what some people might be thinking, and that's why the price is going up right now. Not only that, we've also got a shareholder vote on June the 18th. For who? For what? Why we talk about shareholders votes? Well, we're talking about Vivo Power. It's a Nasdaq-listed energy and digital asset firm, and it's set to become one of the first public companies to execute an XRP-focused treasury and DeFi strategy, having raised 121 million in private placement led by Saudi Prince. The majority of the proceeds will be used to accumulate XRP and to seed DeFi projects on the XRP ledger. With the shareholder vote scheduled for June the 18th, the company also plans to deploy 100 million in XRP via the Flare blockchain to generate yield and adopt Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin for treasury operations. We've got a Nasdaq firm who has raised money. They've got the money. They've got 121 million. 100 million they are proposing goes straight into XRP. What are they waiting for? A shareholder vote on June the 18th. And I'm sure shareholders will vote for that. So in 2 days' time, we can now start seeing institutions adopting the MicroStrategy playbook, but not for Bitcoin, for XRP. And that can happen as early as Wednesday in 2 days' time. And that's 100 million purchase of XRP. Not only is it Vivo Powers, we've got different ones as well. We've got corporate XRP reserve strategies, who's in, what stage, and why it matters. So we've got Vivo Power, $55 million market cap. They're purchasing 100 million. Something's a little bit off there. Obviously, the shareholders are taking into account risk, but that's, if you look at MicroStrategy and their Bitcoin, you can see that the value gap is definitely there. So in my opinion, again, not financial advice, I'm not telling you to buy any of these companies, but I am certainly interested in these companies. So I've talked to you about Vivo Powers and what they're looking to do. And also, have you seen that they mentioned Flare there? They're going to use Flare to yield, to use and generate yield. Flare is one of my top picks for this cycle as well. And look at that XRP rocketing once again while making this live show. Flare. Why do I talk about Flare? Well, Flare is very much integrating the XRP ledger. Flare has got a market cap quite low, at around 1.23 million. Flare, I think, can do a 10 to 100x, in my opinion. I think Flare can definitely one day hit $1. I don't think that's a problem at all for Flare. I think they're very well placed to do something like that. I think Flare can definitely do a 10 to 20x this cycle easily, in my opinion. Again, not financial advice. And Flare are being used by companies now. So there we go. What stage are they at? They've secured the investment. Now they're waiting for the vote. We're expecting them to start buying in 2025. It's still a micro cap, but it's up a lot year to date. Still speculative given the scale of the crypto pivot. Why it matters is one of the first Nasdaq listed firms to pursue large scale XRP reserve. Is it only them? No, it's not. We've got Webus International, ticker symbol WETO. Market cap is 61 million. What they're doing? XRP reserve plan. Announced intent to raise 300 million, 3 times as much. 300 million to fund XRP Reserve, supporting its global chauffeur payment network. Incredible. 3 times as much of these ones. This company hasn't actually raised it yet. That one has secured that investment, but they're intending to raise 300 million, not only for a reserve, not only because let me hold gold in my bank and just hold it, but because they're going to be using it as well. It's so different to Bitcoin. Bitcoin was, when companies buy Bitcoin, they just hold it as an asset on their balance sheet. Doesn't do anything, sits there as if they're buying gold. Companies buy XRP not only as an asset that they expect to rise in value, they will use it. They are going to use it. It's so beautiful. Not only is it an asset that is limited, that is an investment to have on their cards, they can also implement it. They're going to be using it for their global chauffeur payment network. It's a reserve and utility. How amazing is that? What stage are they at? They're non-binding framework, capital raise, and XRP purchases contingent on final agreements and due diligence. Buying timeline, no XRP acquired yet. Expected to begin after financing closes, likely late 2025. It is still a micro cap. We're looking at $61 million valuation company, and it's looking to raise 300 million in XRP. So why it matters, it's seeking to integrate XRP into real-world payments, cross-border rides, settlements, loyalty programs, not just as a treasury asset. Is that it? No, we've got ticker symbol TDETH, Trident Digital Tech Holdings. Market cap 12 million, tiny company, XRP plan. They're announcing 500 million. A company worth 12 million are announcing up to 500 million XRP treasury to be funded via stock issuance and other financial instruments. A little bit risky, but they're looking to have an XRP treasury. They're early. The capital raise and XRP acquisition plans for H2 2025. dependent on regulatory clarity and market conditions. The buying timeline, no XRP acquired yet, expecting it by the end of 2025. It's still a micro cap with recent share price decline. Post announcement business fundamentals are weak, declining revenue, net loss. Why it matters: plans to actively deploy XRP in DeFi and staking, not just hold it passively. Is there any others? Yes, there are. Ticker symbol WGRX, Logistics Health, market cap 95 million. XRP reserve plan to secure 50 million credit facility to acquire XRP as a treasury reserve and to use it. Imagine that. Imagine the Bitcoin company saying, "Well, we're going to acquire Bitcoin and use it." Well, they can't. Bitcoin doesn't really do much. This is the XRP reserve. They're gonna secure 50 million in credit facilities to acquire XRP as a treasury reserve and for use in a new real-time healthcare payment system. Initial purchases 10 million underway, fully deployment expected by the end of 2025. Buying timeline ongoing through 2025. Valuation microcap trading at a high price to book multiple, reflecting both sectors' growth and crypto speculation. Why it matters: first major US pharma distributor using XRP for both treasury and operational payments, aiming for instant low-cost transactions. Is that it? Well, there's not. There's more in the newsletter. You can go check out this company. Very, very small market cap, potential risk to rewards available there. Again, never financial advice. There's institutional valid. If you do want the newsletter, make sure firstly everyone hit the like button. Make sure you've subscribed. All this good news. We need to keep a level head, but we can celebrate all this good news that's going on behind the scenes that not many people know about. And also, if you want the newsletter, which has all this information, all those stocks, you can go look at them. We do deep dives on it. It's the first link in the description, and it's pinned in the live comments as well, if you're watching this live. So why does this matter? Institutional validations. These moves echo the early days of corporate Bitcoin adoption, but with an added operational twist. Firms are looking to use XRP, not just as a reserve, but as an active part of their payment and DeFi infrastructure. Excuse me. So it's not just a reserve; they want to use it as well. It's a double whammy. Um, in summary, these companies are all at varying stages of implementing XRP reserve strategies, with most still in the fundraising or initial acquisition phase. These efforts are early but notable, especially given their operational focus. If they succeed, they could help establish XRP's role in both corporate treasury management and real-world payments, following a path blazed by Bitcoin, but with a unique cases and risks. This is such bullish news. We've got ETF companies under just buying and just use cases being used left, right, and center, and also the case today with the SEC and Ripple potentially coming to a close. Thank you for watching this video. There'll be two up here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. So that was made for a video that comes out later. If you're still live with us, stay with us. We'll be looking to see if any news has come out. What is XRP doing right now? Let's go back to the price. But all of that news is so bullish. I mean, the deeper you look, the more you think XRP is undervalued. Let me just go to the right chart. $2.25, coming straight back up to that $2.30 mark, up 4.25%. What is going on? Look at that. XRP is, the people are FOMOing now. Here we go. No news is out yet. Let me check again. No news is out. Nothing yet. We'll cover it when it does come out. So let's have a look at your comments. Who is with us today? Make sure you have hit the like button. So much. Oh wow, we've got 612 people watching. I did not expect that. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Has everyone hit the like button? Please make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't done already. We are going to be covering this SEC Ripple news all throughout today. I will be keeping an eye on it. I do expect it to come out any second now. The price is reacting first. We've got the price moving up right now. Seems to be front running something. Someone knows something. Someone's trying to manipulate the market. Something's going on, and you need to be prepared for all situations. Be prepared for the downside, the panic selling if it doesn't go well. but I'm optimistic and I'm checking the news as we go. It doesn't seem like anything is out yet. It's too early in the US right now. I don't think we'll get the news for another couple hours, but nothing yet, but it could come out any second. I mean, all they have to do is they probably already made their decision yesterday. All they have to do is just press announce, and then it's done. So Judge Torres, I'm hoping will come back. I mean, she doesn't want this to go on any longer, does she? Why would she want this to go on? The issue last time was the SEC and Ripple both agreed on exactly the terms, and the issue was um, why expecting the big news out? No, Walter, we're getting ready. This is the morning forecast. We get ready for every single day's. Sorry, I'm replying to a comment. Someone saying, why expecting the big news already now? It's still so early. It's because this is the morning forecast show. We're live every single morning at this time, and this is the big story of today. And we're covering it live because all it takes for them to hit one button, they've already made their decision. Judge Torres is probably. Yes, Judge Torres is probably still having a breakfast and walking a dog. That's fine. But she's already made her decision. This isn't something she types up in the day. All she needs to do is press announce, done, finished, and the market reacts. So that's why we're covering it, because it can happen any moment now. Um, so what was I saying? The market, I mean, it's pumping. It's up 4.5%, and we don't even have the news yet. People are worried that they've sold out too low. They've just seen all the bullish momentum of XRP, and they're trying to get back in at this time. Someone's doing something. This is either some people are FOMOing. This is probably, in my opinion, it's accumulation of people FOMOing and people front running the trade. Someone might have the information already and they're opening long positions and they're getting positioned because they already have the news. Alternatively, it could be whales pumping the price up to dump it if for a sell the news event slash if the news isn't good. So be careful with these pumps. Remember, you should already be positioned. $2.30. We're approaching it fast now, and $2.30 could be breached. That's the level technically I'm looking at in the chart. $2.30 for me is very, very important. $2.30, why is it important for me? It's the level that we've been watching for a very long time. We've been rejected at it. Once we've gone through it, we've gone to $2.62. So if we break $2.30 on this good news and we get ETF news tomorrow, I'm expecting $2.62 to break and we can start looking at all-time highs. But that's based on two bits of good news that we haven't got confirmed yet, and we're going to keep an eye on it. And we are going to cover the SEC news today. We're going to cover the XRP ETF news tomorrow, and we're going to cover the shareholders vote on Vivo to see if they're going to buy 100 million worth of XRP on Wednesday, and we'll cover any news in between after as well. So make sure you are subscribed to this channel. We'll bring you the real information. We won't be clickbaiting like other people on X, which are already announcing it's out, but they have no verified information and they're just doing it for clicks. Some people saying it's just all over X right now is just people lying, and we will bring you the verified information as soon as we have it. And there is no real credible news agencies, no credible X accounts, no credible sources telling me that it's done, and I don't expect it to be done right now. It could come out in the next hour, or it can come out later in the day. But we are seeing people front run the trade right now, up 4.5%, coming close to $2.30 right now. If you are watching, make sure you have hit the like button. Make sure you have subscribed. We'll bring that all to you live on the show. Can we reach $3 after the SEC news? Do I think we can hit $3 because of the SEC news? No, I don't think we'll go that high based solely on the SEC news. I mean, we already know what's happening. We already know XRP is not a security. We already know they're going to come to an agreement. It's just more of a formality that needs to be done, and it's an important formality. So do I think, how much do I think the price will pump on a good SEC ruling? Depends if the FOMO's there. Maybe we'll go up to, we break $2.30 and go up to $2.50 on really good news today. If the XR, if everyone starts realizing that ETF can be approved tomorrow and we get FOMO, maybe we go up to $2.62. Will we go up to $3? In my opinion, absolutely not. Why? Because we already know XRP is not a security. We already know what the SEC and SEC and Ripple have planned. We already know how much is coming back to Ripple. We already know how much Ripple are paying, 50 million in settlement, 75 million coming back. All that is already planned out. We know XRP is not a security. That's the most important thing. This is a formality that needs to happen, and it's an important formality. So in theory, what happens now is not that important. However, what it can lead to is important. If we've got clarity, the case has come to an end, 4 years of hardship come to an end. That means the SEC can now move forward with ETFs. They have more. They can move forward anyway, but it doesn't look good that they approve an ETF while they are in the process of a um, court battle with Ripple. If that comes to an end, ETFs are more likely to be approved. Institutions are more likely to get involved with XRP. It will be one of the only cryptocurrencies that has that clarity done, finished, courts finished, everything done. It's the only one of the top cryptocurrencies. It's up there with Bitcoin and Ethereum. In fact, in my opinion, much better than Ethereum in terms of institutional clarity, because Ethereum has all sorts of weird stuff that in its past with the situations with Ethereum and Vitalik and the free pass and John Hinman, all that stuff that happened for Ethereum. I think XRP will be better. And then also, you look at all the good news about XRP, the ETF coming out, all those companies I just showed you, they want XRP not only because it's a treasury, but because they can use it as utility. So you've got all of that coming together, and that's why I think it's actually better than Bitcoin and Ethereum. But for now, they are going to be viewed as the same regulatory clarity as Bitcoin, Ethereum in the same class as Bitcoin and Ethereum, and institutions will look at that and they'll look at XRP as one of those investments that they can make on their balance sheet. And that's what's going on right now. People are seeing the future. It's not just, remember, investors sometimes just look at the next event. Oh, the SEC case today, that's the most important thing. What will happen if the SEC approves, if it comes to an end today? You need to think bigger. You need to think, what's next? Okay, let's imagine that's done. What's next? What's next? You need to think a few moves ahead, and that's what I'm doing. I'm thinking a few moves ahead. What's next? Well, ETF becomes more likely to be approved. Whether that's tomorrow or next month, ETFs are more likely to be approved. What does that mean? Well, companies can buy it, institutions can buy it, it'll be part of people's pensions. What's next? Well, XRP's 14% of Swift in 5 years' time. What does that all add up to? Well, it adds up to XRP being a much larger, a much higher price than whatever volatility we see today, tomorrow, or next week. So that's why I'm prepared for the downside. Again, XRP in a bear market could go down to 50 cents. You might not want to hear that, but that's the reality. If we go into a bear market and we've got a World War III, get ready for a 50 cents XRP. You might not want to hear that, but that's certainly possible. 80% correction, we've seen that multiple times before. That's possible. I'm prepared for it. Do I think it's likely? No, but I'm prepared for it. Are you prepared for a $100 XRP? Are you prepared for a $10 XRP? Are you prepared to see your money go from, let's say you've got 10,000, let's say you've got 10,000 invested, it goes to $20 a cycle, it goes to 100,000. Are you prepared to see your portfolio go from 100,000 back down to 15,000 in a bear market? Would you be able to? Do you have a take profit strategy so you make sure that doesn't happen, or are you happy to hold for 5 years' time to try and get better gains? You need to start thinking of these questions. I can't answer those questions for you, but this is the time you need to start thinking about those questions. You need to start thinking ahead. You need to start thinking about the volatility ahead. You need to start thinking about where XRP can go in the future. You need to start thinking, have I put in too much that you can afford to lose? Have you put too much in that you're going to be emotionally attached? Are you emotionally attached to XRP or whatever your investment is? You need to think, what's next? You can't. And in response to that question that said, what do I expect today? I'm not thinking about today. I'm thinking about tomorrow, the day after, the day after. I'm thinking, what's next? What next? What's next? Constantly with whatever you do, always think, so what? What's next? What's next? Um, and don't just concentrate on one idea. So that's what we're looking at right now. XRP today, that's what happens, but that's not the most important thing. What's important is what that means for the ETF, what that means for institutions, what that means for it would be adding into funds and global ETFs, crypto ETFs, all that sort of stuff that's here to stay in the future. I'm just going to keep an eye on the news. Stay with me. Make sure you've hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell on to stay up to date with all those developments that are coming up with XRP. I am going to keep an eye on the news coming out from the SEC. I've got the news sources here. I'm keeping an eye on it. Um, someone knows something. That's the thing. Someone knows something. Let's keep an eye on it. We are covering it live. We'll go to your comments. Stay with us while we bring you the news. I've got a few news sources open right now. XRP to the moon. I believe it. Whether it's today, tomorrow, I think there's so much use case for XRP. I think XRP is going nowhere about the moon. Please do consider getting your XRP merch. It is actually limited. What a day to get it. Remember the day that potentially the SEC comes to close and slash the XRP ETF approval tomorrow. I'm going to give you the link to the XRP merch. There's only 2 of these mugs left. Oh god, that's going to go fast. So if you do want one of these mugs, there's only 2 left. Once they're gone, they're gone. That's the XRP large mug. There's also a latte mug as well on the shop. There's also the XRP hoodie. You can get the XRP hoodie, mug, and t-shirts at a discount as well. So do consider going to the shop and getting some XRP merch. Let me go to your questions while I keep an eye on the news. Anything coming out with XRP? Nothing yet. But remember, she's already made the decision. All waiting for is someone to click the send button and get it out, and that can happen any moment now. BlackRock hasn't filed one, so what? No, yeah, I know BlackRock hasn't filed one. That's fine. I'm sure they will file one when they want, and they'll probably get it approved quicker than anyone else once the first one gets approved. That doesn't tell me anything. Thank you, Aussie Tom. There's massive asset managers outside of BlackRock as well. Someone knows something. Yes, someone knows something. Remember, abundance has many forms, even abundance of lack. I don't know what you mean, Mr. Blue. I'm thinking about all the. Please do vote on the poll as well. We've got a poll running right now about if you think it's going to get approved. We've actually also got Martyn calling in. Martyn is calling in, so I'm going to bring him straight on the show. He is obviously Martyn Lucas Investor. Martyn is the main host of Martyn Lucas Investor. Let me bring him on. I'm just bringing the screen on. There we go. Martyn, you are live on the show. Welcome to the morning forecast.
Thank you very much indeed. It's great to be here. It's a very exciting morning, and I've got some whispers. I've got some whispers from the Bank of America. Nothing I can confirm yet, but I'm hearing some rumors from the Bank of America. You're talking about why is XRP moving? What's going on? You know I have connections there. There does seem to be something going on. No one's given me something solid, but there seems to be some whispers coming from Bank of America this morning. We've always said there's a connection here between Bank of America and XRP Ripple, but there is something going on. I wish I could say what it was more than that. I just have some whispers coming out of my sources this morning. It's a big morning this morning. Sensei, if you want to do extra, please feel free. Are you able to do extra this morning?
Yeah, I can do a bit extra.
Okay, shall I go on the hour?
Yes, that sounds good.
Okay, I'll go on the hour. Now, this morning, I have some very exciting news for you as well, because I just pinned it to the top, but I want you to replace that with your newsletter. I just wanted everyone to see it, because we've got a ZEBIC pump as well, more than XRP. And of course, this morning, I am meeting with ZEBIC regarding the song, regarding a partnership with me and ZEBIC going to France for the conference. They actually messaged me the other day on X and invited me to take part in their conference in France. They are fans of the ZEBIC song. They like the XRP song. There's a connection there. And at 10 a.m. Central Daylight Time this morning, just in a couple of hours from now, 2.5 hours from now, I'm actually having a conference with ZEBIC. I'm going to be asking about XRP. It's all coming at the same time. So this is very exciting. So there you go. I'll be live on the hour after Sensei with my XRP updated information. Hopefully, I'll have something from the bank by then. I'll also have lots of information going into the ZEBIC meeting. So, guys, it's a day today. The S&P is up, by the way. Yesterday, I put out a special spaces telling you the market would be up today. I gave you about 10 examples of wars, crises that have happened in the past, and said to you this was an opportunity to buy. I bought. I do what I say and say what I do. I said the market would be up. It's up. The S&P is also up. Sensei, I'm sure you can confirm that. The S&P is up today as well. I'm at 1.4, which is $2,500 because I'm in margin, of course, so I amplify that. I was expecting this. The market overreacted, and at the very last 3 seconds of 7 p.m. on the close of Friday, the S&P upticked. You can see, and what that meant was, in the last few seconds of the S&P close on Friday, was the markets weren't spooked out by what they were hearing. It's tragic, of course, and what we're getting is awful in the Middle East. Nobody wants it, but the market wasn't overly concerned. It sold off like it always does as an opportunity to sell and buy back more. They sold it. I bought it. Thank you very much. And the S&P is pumping. I'm up $1,630. My projection was an all-time high within 7 days. Once again, another one. We had that one last week. Another all-time high for me at the end of this week, 7 days. So I'm happy with that. And because everything's now happening this morning,
Just lost
everyone,
Martyn. Oh, we're back. You're back.
Am I back? Okay. Did I freeze for a second? So there you go. Sensei, I'm going to hand it over to you. You're doing a great job. Wonderful audience this morning. Everyone subscribe and make sure you've rung the bell because you won't want to miss the follow-up to this in 35 minutes. I'll be doing XRP follow-up, hopefully Bank of America information, and then I'll be bringing you more information from Zebic. That's even pumping more than this. We've got a big meeting this morning. Sensei, I can see you smiling. You're loving it. We've got so many of our number one stocks and assets rising and rallying today, and we've got the inside track as we always do. And by the way, Sensei, your newsletter this morning is fantastic. Everyone should get it. If you've not got the newsletter yet, folks, go on to the newsletter. The link that Sensei will replace with my Zebic pin. Hopefully he'll do that now. And get yourself the free trial, because if you go onto the annual plan, you might want to go founder as well if you want the Rolls-Royce white gloves treatment. But the best value for you is the yearly. If you want the Rolls-Royce, yes, okay, it is the founder. But if you are a regular viewer and you want the best value, it is the yearly. Get a 7-day trial. What a time to get it. You can have it all through this week, getting all the updates on Zebic, XRP, our air show. We're going to France for the air show. You want all of that stuff. Course you do. And you can always, if you want to, but you won't because nobody does, you can cancel it at the end of the 7 days before you're charged. So strongly recommend every single person get the newsletter today. You're going to get XRP daily, all the updates. You're going to get Zebic daily. Today I meet with Zebic. I'm talking to Zebic today directly, the CEO and other members of Zebic today. You'll get the follow-up for that in tomorrow's newsletter. And on top of all of that, you will get everything to do with the Paris Air Show because we're going to be there live for you. What a week to get the information. It's all free. You get a 7-day trial. If at the end of the 7 days, you don't think it was worth like 25, 30 cents a day, Sensei? Something like that. Then, yeah. I mean, if you don't think it's worth 30 cents a day, then of course, at the end of that, you can cancel it, but no one does. I love it. We're just approaching 1,000 people watching the show right now. Have you noticed, Sensei, the numbers have gone up since I called in? I'm just saying. Anyway, we've got, how many have we got? 890. We've got 275 likes. We should be now at 1,000 viewers live on the show, 500 likes. You've got everything you need today here. XRP news. Sensei is going to keep giving it to you. I'm going to give you the follow-up. The Zebic, I'm literally talking to Zebic and asking questions directly on XRP. Who else is going to do that today? Nobody. They like the song. They're fans of the show. And I'm going to go to the conference in France, maybe it virtually. We'll discuss that meeting today. Sensei, have a great day. Thanks, everyone. The numbers are going up. We're nearly at 300 likes now, 711. I will hand it back to you. Have a great day. I'll see you on the hour.
Thank you so much, Martyn. Thank you, Martyn, for calling in. We're all looking forward to his news that he's going to bring to us. The event continuing in 33 minutes. We'll be moving over to Martyn. So he gives us some extra information with his sources as well. As Martyn mentioned there, the newsletter link is pinned to the top of the comment section. It takes a moment. You can click on it. You can get the annual plan. You can get the free plan. You can try it for 7 days. Please do give it a go because you get all this information. Today's newsletter on the deeper dive section, you got all the XRP news, all the deadlines for the spot ETFs, all the news on which companies are looking for a reserve, ones that might be catching your eyes as well. All the fundamentals there, plus the charts of the day, the news of the day. You get everything. And you get a 7-day free trial, so please do try it out. It is the pinned comment in the live chat. We're going to come back on to XRP's pump because we are waiting for the news to come out for the SEC Ripple case to come to an end. I am just going to look into my sources once again to see if I've got any messages coming through, any of my sources or news outlets giving us anything. Going to look on X as well. Someone knows something because XRP wouldn't be up 4% on no news. Someone knows something. Someone is either trying to manipulate the market or they already knows the news beforehand and they're front running the news. I'll come on to my thoughts and opinions in just a second. I'm just checking some news again. Um, I'm just going to be messaging one of my sources and I'll see if I've got any information. Just going to see if we get any information from there. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure you've subscribed. I'm keeping an eye on all the news. We'll be covering this throughout the day. It can happen any second now. I mean, all it takes is someone's already made the decision behind the scenes. Someone at the SEC already knows what they're going to be filing. We're just waiting for a send button. Um, let me see. Just keeping an eye on the news. Okay, I'm going to come into your comments while I get some updated information on what is going on because this is not normal. There is some FOMO even going on, or someone has got some news that they're not sharing with the wider world. But this is pumping straight back to the upside. Um, so, yeah, if the SEC. So what we are, in fact, what we are waiting for today is what the SEC reports. So the SEC is going to give a status report on the information. We could get the ruling from Judge Torres today, but what we're actually waiting for today is the SEC's update on the report of the settlement progress. So I just want to keep you updated on, and just clearly tell you what we're waiting for today. It is, in fact, it is the deadline for the SEC's report, and I think we've got some of that information in our newsletter today as well. Um, yeah, here we go. So today is June the 16th. It is a pivotal day. The SEC must update the court on the settlement progress or signal its intent to continue with appeals. So that's what we're waiting for. That will give us a good indication on what Judge Torres does. I just want to make clear I don't think Judge Torres is coming out today with a specific decision. She could, but I think what the main thing we're waiting for right now is the SEC status report, and the ruling will come straight after. So we are going to be waiting. Oh, senses. Let me check the audio. I'm going to check. Specific decision she could, but I think what the on the settlement program. If you're having an issue, make sure you refresh the stream. Refresh the stream if you're having an issue. Refresh stream. It is not an issue on my end, it's an issue on YouTube's end. What we are waiting for is a decision from the SEC, a status report on the settlement. This is the information that's coming through right now. It's a status report from the SEC. I'm just checking sources. Let me just go back to your comments and see what you're saying while I get some updated information. I just want to make it clear we're waiting for the SEC to add to this. The price is moving up in a peculiar way, and I'm trying to do the research while we're looking, while we're doing the show. So it's a little bit hard. So do bear with me, but I'm trying to get you the most up to date information. Um, okay, so So I'm getting some more information through. I'm just talking to a contact I have that's familiar with the matter quite well. And he's telling me, so today is mainly about the SEC coming and giving us some information. So we're waiting for information to come out the SEC. To give us a status report on how the negotiations are going between Ripple and the SEC. That report will then go to Judge Torres, and then within a day or two, or even today, a day to the end of the week, we can see to see if the case will proceed or if she will end it. Um, a joint settlement from the SEC and Ripple indicating they have reached a settlement or are very close to one. So what we need is confirmation from the SEC that the negotiations between Ripple and the SEC are done. It is, and this is going to be an official update to the court ruling. A positive cooperative status report would pave the way for financial settlement and regulatory clarity. So what we're waiting for is something to come out from the SEC. So that's what we're going to keep our eyes peeled for. This is odd that the market's moving this in this direction for XRP so quickly. Someone knows what's going on within the SEC, and they know what the news is. Whether it's good or bad, they can play it both ways. If it's good, they could be front running it and buying in and longing. If it is even bad, they could be front running it just to dump it when that announcement comes out of the SEC. So we are waiting for an announcement to come from the SEC any second now, and that could mark the end of this case as well, today or this week. So we are keeping an eye on the latest developments. Remember, not only that, I mean, let's just stop thinking about this for a second. Let's start thinking about what's happening tomorrow. XRP ETF deadline tomorrow. XRP ETF deadline tomorrow. XRP ETF deadline tomorrow. June the 17th, Franklin Templeton decision deadline. So not only are we going to get some information come out of the SEC, that's going to give us the tone of what we should expect for the ETF the ETF decision tomorrow. We can have a confirmation that there's going to be an XRP ETF that could be launching next week. But the decision is tomorrow, and that's coming out straight from the SEC. And yes, we have another one next week as well. But Franklin Templeton, the decision is next week, and the odds for approval of an XRP Spot ETF this year are through the roof. 90% plus is what the betting markets are putting on it. So we are closely waiting for the XRP Spot ETF decision tomorrow. So make sure you are subscribed. We're going to cover this news straight as it comes, whether it's the SEC news, the ETF news, the companies voting on buying up millions of dollars worth of XRP, which is coming out on the 18th as well. Please do make sure you've hit the like button. We are going to get some more inside information or some different context from Martyn in just 20 minutes time as well. But I'm constantly monitoring the SEC. Let's go to the SEC's X as well. I'm going to be looking at that. Let's go over here and go to the SEC and see if they're saying anything. Nothing yet from the SEC. We'll go to their website as well. They will be putting out a release on this as well. Investors, no. We would see it come up on the latest news. Nothing there yet. Okay, we'll keep an eye on it. Not only have we got XRP going up, it's the broader markets as well. We've got the S&P 500, which is up 0.7% on the day. And some of you might say, "Well, we don't care. We care about XRP." Well, you should care, and I'll tell you why. Let me tell you a little story about when the XRP SEC case, when XRP was declared not a security. The best news possible, better than the news of a XRP ETF tomorrow, better than the news of the SEC case coming to an end today, for example. The best news possible was, if we go back to XRP's chart, it was when the court ruling, after years of hardship, after years of manipulation, they ruined the 2021 bull market for XRP, everything. The best news possible came out back in July of 2023, 2 years ago. The best news possible, better than ETF news, better than SEC, the news that we're getting today. XRP was declared not a security. That would have ended XRP. If XRP was declared a security, that XRP down the toilet finished, basically, until the next government came in and sorted it all out. But it would, in theory, it would mean no one would want to own XRP. The best news ever came out that XRP was declared not a security. The law of the land became XRP is not a security. And yes, you got that initial. This is the day it happened. We watched it live. We were here. We were excited. We knew what that meant fundamentally. The best news possible. It went up 72% from the open to the close. A few weeks later, you went from that high. 35 days later, you were down 53%. The price was lower than before you had the ruling. Why? Why would that happen with the best news possible? Well, because the S&P 500 was in the bear market, Bitcoin was in a bear market, the broader macro situation wasn't good. Those things matter. It's not all about if XRP's underlying news is great, XRP's price will go up tomorrow. It will in the future, but there and then, if you want that momentum to continue, you need the broader situation, the S&P 500, the macro situations, Bitcoin near all-time highs. You need all of that to be good for XRP to have a prolonged run. Otherwise, we'll just get something like this with an ETF application and the SEC case coming to a close. You'll get one big candle. You'll forget to take profits. 2 months later, you'll be lower than you are today. So that's why it's important that we take a holistic approach, that we cover all bases, that we look at the S&P 500, because that gives us an indication of the top 500 companies basically in the world or in the US. And if that's moving up today, that is good news for XRP. If that makes all-time highs, if we get a big rally today or tomorrow, with the S&P 500 approaching all-time highs, and then we get the ETF approval, that will really help. If Bitcoin is back above 106,000, approaching all-time highs, it's above 106,000. If it starts approaching 115,000 and then goes beyond, and then that news comes out for XRP's ETF, that's even in a better position. So even if we don't get the approval, and this is the weirdest thing, if the ETF application doesn't get approved tomorrow, but it gets approved next week, and then next week Bitcoin's already at all-time highs and S&P 500 at all-time highs, I would prefer for the XRP ETF to be approved next week when the situation is better. The situation right now isn't the worst, but we don't have FOMO, we're not in a proper bull market where everything's pumping. I would rather the XRP ETF application comes out then. If it comes out tomorrow, great, underlying news is great, 5 years time won't make an effect, but if we don't get the one approved tomorrow, but we get one approved next week, and the market's in a better way, I would prefer that, and that's why we care about the macro situation, what's going on within the rest of our investments, what's going on within the crypto markets and the stock markets. That's why it makes a difference, because I showed you that example of the best news possible, better than any of the news coming up this week with XRP, even though they're big stories at ETF and SEC and companies buying XRP. All that's coming up this week, and we'll be covering it live on the show. But that's not as big as that news that we got 2 years ago when XRP was deemed not security. And then the best news possible, it went up 76%. 35 days later, it was lower than before the news even came out, and that was all based on where the market was in a bear market with no good news around the markets, and we weren't at all-time highs. We weren't in a bull market, and at least this time around we are in a bull market. At least we are close to all-time highs. What would be even a step better? Bitcoin making all-time highs today, S&P 500 making all-time highs, and then you get the XRP ETF news, and then that's when you can really start moving. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that. What we are still waiting for right now is the news to come out of the SEC on the case, to see if they have come to a reasonable agreement, just so that Judge Torres can sign it off and finish it off, and we're done with this SEC case. I can't wait for it to be behind us. Let's have a look at your comments as well. If you are experiencing lagging or anything, please refresh the screen, or if you're on your phone, just swipe off it and come back in. XRP about to pump hard, says Media Digital Solutions. Yes, it could be. Make sure you've signed up to newsletter. If I can ask you one thing to do today, just one. I've been spending hours and hours and hours to bring you the best newsletter possible, better than anything else out there. I've given you the link right now. Click on that link. What that takes you to is this website here. You get all the deep dives, all the news of the day for 30 cents a day, and you get a 7-day free trial. So just try it out and see if you like it. There's a button there, you can select it. This is the link that gives you the 7-day free trial. There's also a Let me just mute this. There's also a free trial. There's also a free plan as well. You don't get as much, but if you're not going to do the annual plan, or if you just want to try out, you can do the free one. The annual plan gives you the free trial. There's a monthly plan as well, but do consider just signing up to that newsletter. If you're going to do one thing today, you'll get all the news, the verified news. I mean, if you look at today's newsletter, you had every single bit of news you need for this week for XRP. You've got the deeper dive, which all had everything about XRP, all the dates, everything about today, the SEC case, what's happening, everything about the deadlines, about the spot ETFs tomorrow. You've got all these separate companies you can look into. 5 or 6 companies I gave to you that are buying XRP that, in my opinion, some of them are very much undervalued. You need to go do your own research, but I've given you the foundations of that research, why it matters, what they're doing with these, what their plans are to acquire XRP, and that's an alternative XRP investment strategy as well. Again, it's never financial advice, but I'm giving you all the ideas as well to start looking into all those companies there that are looking very interesting, and I'm certainly going to take a deeper dive into them, and I'll be sharing that on the newsletter as I do. You get all the top movers, you get all the top losers, you get what's happening this week. You can see today's the SEC Ripple day. You've got the Bank of Japan's interest rate decision tomorrow. You've got the Franklin Templeton XRP deadline tomorrow. You've got the FOMC meeting on Wednesday. You've got the everything that's happening this week. You've got the chart of the day at the bottom. You've got the 5 top stories every single morning. The 5 stories that you want to keep an eye on is 2 paragraphs long, plus my own thoughts at the bottom of each one as well. Things that are important for you guys to know. You've got the one big thing at the top, what's happening with what the top stories are, what the one big thing is to read quickly, and the money move of the day as well. So please do consider signing up to that newsletter. I've put the link in the comment section, so there you go. I've also got Martyn back on the line, so let me bring Martyn back onto the show. Welcome again, Martyn.
Sensei, it's all happening at once. We got some more breaking news here. EU looks to agree a flat 10% tariff by the US. Markets are preparing for a face-ripping rally. Face-ripping rally predicted. Face-ripping rally soon to be delivered. This is absolutely incredible. All this is coming at once. I'm going to put the link in the show for the X account. I think this should come up, shouldn't it, Sensei? If I click this, I've never done it on your show. Yes, it works. I've just put the link for X, my X account, in the chat. Everyone now click on that and go and repost the 2 events. Sensei, if you could show it, go and repost the 2 events. I've just gone live on X asking everyone to join Sensei this morning for this information and say Sensei sent me. I've got a Zebic news. I want you all to repost that. It's already been posted 7 times. And there is the other one. Thank you, Sensei. That's the XRP news. Repost that. You've got XRP news pumping. You've got Zebic at 13% with the Zebic meeting coming up in just, for me, 2 hours and 20 minutes. EU looks to agree a 10% flat tariff. This is one hell of a day. Very, very exciting stuff. So, Sensei, I'm going to hand it back to you. I'm trying to get word from Bank of America, but boy, we could be in for one hell of a rally. What a strange time for it to rally when we've got what's happening in the Middle East. Again, markets are markets. Economy is the economy, and macro conditions are macro conditions. They're all related, but they're not connected. Sensei, I'll hand it back to you. It's a big day. If you want to go on a bit longer, that's absolutely fine. Just let me know. I'm listening to your show and I can just follow you because I'm trying to prepare stuff and it just keeps changing every 10 seconds. I'll never get on air like this. Back to you, mate.
Thank you very much, Martyn. Look at that. Breaking news brought to you straight on the show. I told you don't need to go anywhere else. If I'm not looking at it, Martyn's looking at it and he's bringing it straight to the show. A 10% flat rate looks to be coming to agreement on the EU. And that's what we're talking about. We want macro. We want the stock market doing well when this XRP news comes out. Because if we're not in a good situation, if we've got tariffs looming, if we don't have deals being made, then XRP won't perform well either. The news will come out, it will pop for one day, and there'll be a pump and dump, and it's over. You need everything to be in place to have those big rallies that we're talking about, to hit those targets we want this cycle. So thank you very much, Martyn, for bringing that. We will come to your show in 12 minutes' time, otherwise my wife will kill me. She'll be like, I've made lunch and you're not even eating it, and it's all going to go cold. So yeah, we will come to you in 12 minutes' time to get your insights on the situation, the EU deal, and see if we've got anything from Bank of America as well for the XRP. So do stay tuned with us. We'll be bringing you some more fundamental news based on all of this in 12 minutes time. In the meantime, I'm going to have a quick look and see if I've missed the message from any sources about this XRP SEC news. Let's see if we've got anything coming in. Nope, nothing yet. This XRP rally, someone has the news, but they're being selfish and they're not sharing it with the rest of us. Up and selling off slightly, but it's still up nearly 4% on the day. Go on to the 5-minute time frame. Sold off slightly, but it's still up 4% on the day. I don't think any other crypto is performing quite as well as XRP is today. Yeah, we've got ZBCN. Again, Martyn's going to have a meeting with them. ZBCN is up 14% today. Filecoin is up 4%. But yeah, XRP is really up there, outperforming Bitcoin to quite a large extent. So we're keeping an eye on it. I hope everyone took that time to sign up to the newsletter as well. I'm going to put the link straight back there in the chat as well. Let's see how many of you have. No one. Not. Oh no, we do. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 people have joined the free plan. There's also an annual plan. That's the one you get the most value on. But if you just want to get the main stories and get a little bit of an idea, then you can do the free plan, or you can have the 7-day free trial and experience the full shebang for 30 cents a day, basically. And if you don't like it, you can cancel it. Please do consider signing up to that newsletter. I've put a lot of effort into that, hours and hours and hours of research every single day. So let's have a quick look at your comments, see if anyone else has any thoughts, or maybe you guys have the inside information of what's going on. Sensei, thank you for what you're doing. Oh,
TJ Molden donated $4.99
TRX.
through a super chat. My TRX, flushed face emoji, fire emoji.
My TRX. Oh, TRX. Tron. Let's have a look at Tron. What's that doing? Nothing too major. Let me get TRX. Am I looking at the right one? It's had a bit of volatility in the last 5 minutes. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, had a few 5-minute candles of volatility, but nothing too significant. Thank you for sharing it, though. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing. EU tariff deal, yes, we'll be covering that. Martyn will be covering that in 17 minutes' time. Let's see what Bloomberg.
If there are sustained supply chain disruptions, we haven't seen that yet. Hopefully, we don't.
Just looking into Bloomberg to see if they're covering that, but they're not. Sensei, don't buy into the hype. Stay with your guts. You have a good idea of what XRP is going to do. Yeah, Jesse, we cover the news. I'm ready for all situations. I'm standing on the moon. For anyone who's not tried Sensei's newsletter, I have paid for the other yearly subscriptions to Tip Ranks, the Motley Fool, and a couple others, and Sensei's newsletter is extremely professional. David Hensley, I appreciate that so much. David, thank you so much. That is very kind. If you haven't signed up to the newsletter, there is the link. That's very kind words, David. I appreciate that a lot. It's going to get better, but and it's going to be the best newsletter out there. I am sure it will be. TRX is going public. TRX going public. TRX. Why do I not understand what you're saying? TRX going public. TRX going public. I don't associate TRX. Oh, right. Tron is going public. It's not the coin. It's the Justin Sun's digital. Oh God, TRX is going public. Wow. True Social just applied for Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. Yes, we have covered that, but that's extreme news as well. But Tron going public, that's incredible. Why are they doing that? They need some money, it seems. Why? Tron is going public. Let's see if we can see some news about Tron going public. Here we go. Tron is going public. Crypto group Tron to go public after US pauses probe into billionaire founder. Deal improving Justin Sun's. Look, crypto companies, they're coming and they're coming and they keep coming. You can't get rid of them anymore. Crypto's here to stay. Anyone who thought crypto was a scam, sorry, you've got left behind. In fact, you're still early. But they're coming. They're going to start IPOing, and here's another one, Tron. A deal involving Justin Sun's digital asset venture orchestrated by investment bank linked to Trump's sons. Oh God, here we go. Crypto billionaire Justin Sun's digital asset platform Tron is set to go public in the US 4 months after making regulators agreed to pause a fraud investigation into several of his companies. Tron will go public in a reverse merger with Nasdaq-listed SRM Entertainment in a deal orchestrated by Dominera Securities, a New York-based boutique investment bank who's with ties with Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump, according to two people briefed on the matter. The new venture will buy and hold the Tron. The new venture will buy and hold the Tron token, mimicking the tactics of a strategy formerly a MicroStrategy when the founder Michael Saylor has turned into a leveraged Bitcoin vehicle. One of the people said Eric Trump is expected to take a role at the company, which will be the Tron Incorporated. The person added. The deal will involve Tron injecting 210 million of token assets into the new company and marks the latest in a surge of crypto ties fueled up by Donald Trump's warm embrace of the digital asset industry since he had begun his term as the US president. I'm intrigued why Tron isn't up more. It's only up 1.9% on the news. You would expect the cryptocurrency that they've said they're going to buy and hold to be up quite a lot more. Where are we in comparison to the bear? I don't look at Tron that often, but look at that. I mean, it has been performing incredibly well. At 28 cents, it's just been a silent warrior. Tron has. Wow, look at that. What's its market cap? 26 billion. It's just been a silent warrior. It's just been higher and higher and higher highs, higher lows all throughout this year. Since 2023, it's just gone up without any major pullbacks, up 500% in the last couple of years. I would expect it to be up more on the news, but there we go. Thanks for bringing that to us. Crypto companies IPOing left, right, and center, and here is Tron IPOing in connection with Donald Trump's son. So that looks cool. Truth Social just applied for Bitcoin and ETH ETFs. Yes, everything will be tokenized. So if Tron goes public, Bitcoin could go up significantly too. What makes you say it ends today? Pure speculation? Yeah, no. A little bit of both. We're getting the SEC to come out with a comment today. I do expect that will lead to Judge Torres saying that's the end. We do have the XRP ETF coming out tomorrow. So there is a chance it all comes to an end today, or we get a significant idea that it's coming to an end. Stay with us. In a few minutes' time, we'll be moving over to Martyn's show very shortly. But yeah, it is very close to an end. Whether it's today, tomorrow, or the day after, it does look like it's coming to an end, or we get a decision. At least we're getting more data to go off by the SEC today. What's the big news Martyn just mentioned? The EU 10% tariff deal seems to be coming into place. I'll see if Bloomberg is covering that right now. Not at the moment, but it looks like there is a deal with the EU that Martyn will be covering. So you'll be able to hear about that in about 3 minutes' time. I thought Justin was a joke. Now I have to think again. Could still be a joke, but I don't know what you mean by joke, but it doesn't mean it's the best thing out there. I've heard some bad things about that sort of thing, about Justin's son and allegations and stuff like that. Not I haven't looked into it deeply, so I don't know much about it, but I know there's going to be another crypto company IPOing. We're keeping an eye on the XRP news. Make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure you've subscribed if you're new here as well. Let me know. Are you new here? If you're new here, let me know in the chat. Let me know where you're from as well. Tell me you're new and where you're from. Let me go to the XRP chart once again, see if there's any movements, because we are seeing some weird price action on XRP before any news has even come out as well. Let me go to the 15-minute time frame. Selling off slightly from that big move towards the upside. As I said, it could be someone just manipulating the markets, pumping and dumping it. That is always a possibility. We'll keep an eye on it. I just saw a super chat come through. Fonzie, let's celebrate their their third super chat on the stream. Thank you very much. If you do a super chat, do consider when you do a super chat, you can write a message as well. So you did $2 super chat, you can write a message. Let your thoughts be known. If you want to do a super chat, write a comment in there as well. If anyone wants a chart request, we've got a couple minutes before we go over to Martyn's show. You can do a $4.99 super chat. We look at your favorite crypto or stock. Sensei, don't buy into the hype. I'm just looking at your comments. If you don't like this channel, why are you here? Pans. Oh, what's Pan's been saying? We've got our first troll of the day. Okay, cool. That's strange. What else? Be careful, guys. I almost got. XRP Ripple. Sorry, the classic art. I don't know what you mean. I do still think we're going to get $100 XRP. If you're lagging, you can refresh the stream. Martyn sent me from my ex the Switz. Amazing. I was there. I have a good feeling about XRP today. It says Media Digitization Solutions will be covering all the XRP news throughout the week. It's an XRP week, so make sure you are subscribed and you are going to continue to stay with us because there's a lot going on this week. XRP approved, and then we go to the moon, says Nick the Badge. Why do you think it's today? Because we're getting the SEC. We're getting the news out of the SEC today on where the settlement negotiations are going with Ripple. If that's all perfect, then there is no reason for Judge Torres not to end the case. Any chance the ETF for XRP is announced today? I don't think they'll announce it a day early. I think they'll do it on the day. I mean, there is a chance, Craig Bow. You raise a good point, but I always think of it on the deadline. They say something on the deadline, but I guess they could announce it a day early. I don't think I've seen them do that before though. But yeah, they could announce it today. Craig Bowie, you are right. The XRP ETF could be announced today. The deadline's tomorrow. No reason to not to announce it earlier. Sensor audio is cutting it out. You can always refresh. It's not on my end, and it's probably not on your end either. It's probably on YouTube's end, and all you have to do is refresh, and it goes back to normal. Okay, let's go back to the most recent comments. We've got the next live stream ready. XRP $100. Yep, I see a $100 XRP. I mean, that's next cycle. No need to focus on next cycle yet, but you always need to look in the future as well. So yeah, I do think 100 to 50 to $100 XRP next cycle 2030 is very much possible. Will the case end today? It can very well end today. Yes. Probably in the next couple of days, but today we'll get an indication of what's going on from the SEC. They've got a deadline today. New subscribers, South UK, need educated is ZBCN and XRP link. Dave Ria, do consider becoming a member. You've got a couple minutes before we go over to Martyn's stream. Oh, he's ready as well. So there's the membership link. David Ria, we're live every single morning. I'm also from the south of UK. We're live all the time. It's me and Martyn and Vaz. Martyn's the owner of the channel. If you become a member, you will see our live streams all the time, and I can explain to you everything about. We can educate. The community educates each other, and I can definitely help you out. XRP and ZBCN are linked in a way, but not in a significant way. There is a partnership potentially with Ripple and ZBCN. But David Ria, do consider becoming a member. How's your hay fever? Better today, Pascal. Thank you. Until I go outside. There is the membership link. There is the link for the next show. Here is will the Ripple of SEC case end today? 1,200 votes. Yes, 60%. No, 20%. Not sure, 18%. Well, let's hope it's today. We'll cover all the news today. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure that notification bell's on because we will cover it as soon as it happens. Good morning, Sense in the Lucas. Thanks for the show. Cheers, Brendan. Thank you very much, Brendan. Aussie Radio Picker, a big supporter of the channel. So, a couple things, and I'm going to send you over to Martyn because we've gone over time. First thing is the XRP merch. Get your XRP merch before, so you can say you were believing XRP before the ETF and the news came out and the SEC news came out. There is a link. You can get a full bundle jumper, mug, t-shirts. So there is the link for the XRP merch, and there's a full Martyn Lucas official shop if you want to get other bits and bobs as well. ZBCN merch as well, that was newly added as well. So firstly, do consider doing that. Number two, make sure you've hit the like button. I'd like everyone to make sure they've hit the like button. Number three, make sure you subscribed and you've hit the notification bell. And if there's one thing you're going to do for me today when we're going to be researching the news and staying on standby for anything that happens and covering it 24/7, is this link over here. It's the newsletter. It is something, it's a project I've taken on for 4 weeks now, and it's going to go on forever and ever, and it's going to get better and better. It's already at a very high standard. You get all the news for the day, the top 5 things, the deeper dives, everything, for 30 cents a day. And there's even a free plan, and there's even a 7-day free trial. Please consider subscribing to that. That's news there. What we're going to do now, and I want everyone to pay clear attention to this, because you might get confused and you might not understand what's going on. The regular viewers will know what's about to happen. We're going to go over to Martyn's show. Martyn, this is Martyn Lucas Investors Show. This is his channel. He's going to be doing a live show from his studio. It's going to be on in the next couple minutes, and it's on the same channel, but I'm ending this stream and it's going to that. He's going to have the news about the Bank of America. He's going to have the news about the EU tariffs. He's going to have some extra insights for all of you as well, with the S&P 500 and XRP and ZBCN. Remember, he's talking to the people at ZBCN today. How do you go and see that? Well, the link is here. I'm going to send everyone now, and I want take your time. Yes, it's fine, Martyn. I'll send everyone now. So this is the link to his show. You click on that link, and if you don't click on the link, the show will automatically take you there. And then we'll wait for Martyn to go live there. He will be live soon on that in the same channel, just a different live stream. So you make sure you click the link. You can go there now and wait. I'm not going to say anything else too important now. I'm going to be sending you straight there. So I'm going to end the show now. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Make sure you've subscribed. Make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure you sign up to newsletter. You can definitely sign up to newsletter in the meantime while Martyn's going live in the next few minutes. And it's an important week. We need to cover the real news, and we need to get ready for the ETF. The SEC case coming to an end. The company's buying XRP, and we just need to think a step ahead, because we don't just want to focus on one thing. We need to think about the step ahead, how to take profits, how to buy at lower levels, and we'll cover that all live on this show. So thank you everyone for tuning in. I'm live every morning for the morning forecast before we're sending to Martyn's show. If anything extreme happens, we'll come live as well. But for now, we're going to give you some extra insights with Martyn's show. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Make sure you're subscribed. If you ever see us live, do pop in and say hello. Until next time. And next time is that link over there. We're going live in a couple minutes time. Take care of yourselves and each other. Thank you everyone. Always a pleasure doing these shows. Bye bye.